Welcome to Bill's Bridge class, class number 6, Hand Evaluation, Part 1, Thursday, April 11th, 2013. Hand Evaluation. Evaluating the trick-taking capabilities of your team, you and your partner's hand, is the first step in learning bridge and being successful at it. Tricks are won in 3 ways. The highest card of the suit led wins the trick. High card points. 2. Trump tricks. Distribution. Extra length in the trump suit equals tricks. 3. Length in any suit. After the opponent show out and cannot trump, if you can pull a trump and pull the higher cards of that suit, the lower cards will win tricks. So the first evaluation we're going to talk about is evaluating your own hand. You will then adjust it based upon what happens further on in the bidding. The first step is hand evaluation. There are 3 evaluations we're going to consider, and the 4th a little bit later. The first are what we call starting points. That's what we're going to cover today. The second are support points or dummy points. That is, how valuable is your hand when you plan on raising your partner's suit. And third is rebid points, or sometimes called Bergen points. After your partner has raised you, the value of your hand has gone up because you have found a fit, and a fit is worth tricks. So after a raise. What I'm going to be covering are Bergen evaluations. It varies somewhat from the so-called standard hand evaluations, and I will touch base from time to time on some minor differences between them, but my own opinion, Bergen evaluations are more accurate, although maybe a little more complex. When you evaluate your hands and your partner's hand, you add the 2 together, and based on that you can evaluate where you ought to be, assuming you have a 8-card fit for a major suit, or assuming that you're playing in no trump. It takes 25 to 26 combined points to make a game. 3 no trump, 4 hearts, or 4 spades. It takes 28 to 29 points to make a game in a minor suit, 5 clubs or 5 diamonds. It takes 33 points to make a small slam, and it takes 37 points to make a grand slam. So those are key numbers you should have embedded in your brain from the time you pick up your hand. Let's start with your own hand. We're talking offensive possibilities. Count high card points. An ace is 4, every king is 3, every queen is 2, and every jack is 1. Everybody I know of, this is the standard high card point valuations. But then there are adjustments you need to make. Different people judge it a little bit differently, but here is Bergen's, and it's similar to most people. A dubious singleton or doubleton honor may not be worth what's expected to. Deduct 1 point for a singleton king, queen, or jack, a doubleton king, queen, doubleton king, jack, doubleton queen, jack, doubleton queen, or doubleton jack. Subtract about a half a point for a singleton ace or a doubleton ace jack. They're not worth as much. They may be worth more if your partner happens to have honors in that suit and length, but you don't know that when you begin. The third adjustment, the next adjustment, second actually, is called the adjust 3. Now this is unique to Bergen, and it takes a little bit of practice, but it's called adjust 3. The point is this: aces are worth more than 4 points. Queens and jacks are worth less than 2 and 1 point. And 10s sometimes are worth something. So you need to adjust the count a little bit. Count the aces and 10s in your hands. That's a number, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then count the number of queens and jacks, 1, 2, 3, 4. Subtract one from the other. If the difference is 0, there's no adjustment. every difference is worth roughly a third of a point. So for example, if you have 3 aces and 10s, but no queens or jack, that's worth an extra point. If you have all queens and jacks, 2 queens, a jack, and no aces or 10s, subtract a point. If you really got a problem, 3 queens and 3 jacks, no aces or 10s, subtract 2 points. You get the idea. Round it up to the near or down to the nearest number. That's close to close. Suit quality. The fact is that if you have a suit that has several honors combined in that suit, it's going to win more tricks. If you have kings or queens spread out throughout the 4 suits, they may or may not be of value, but if they're all in the same suit, you know that they will drive out other honor cards and they'll be winning tricks. We define a quality suit as a suit of 4 or more cards having 3 of the top 5 honors, ace through 10. If you have a suit such as this, add 1 point. A great suit is a suit with 4 of the top 5 honors. If you have 5 or more of that suit, add 2 points. Also, for bidding purposes, treat it as if it were 1 card longer. We'll talk about that when we get into bidding. An independent suit is a great suit that's 6 cards or more. Count it as a great suit, but in addition, you can count for distribution, but not for no trump. For each singleton, add 2 points, and for each void, add 4 points. Length. Add 1 point for each 5-card suit, 2 points for a 6-card suit, 3 points for a 7-card suit, and so on. Add those together, that becomes your starting point. Points for starting. And again, for no trump, don't count short suits. Now the standard count would add 1 for a 5-card suit. They would count distribution a little bit different, but we're going to cover that a little bit later in our classes. There's another form of evaluation that you should do prior to opening. That is, determine your quick tricks. A quick trick is a holding that will produce a trick within the first 2 leads of a suit. They're a measure of your defensive strength. Possible combinations within the same suit are the ace-king, same suit, 2 quick tricks, cash the ace, cash the king. Ace-queen with additional cards, 1.5 quick tricks. The ace will always win, the queen will win half of the time. The ace with 1 or more, with any number of cards, is always 1 quick trick. It'll win the first round. A king-queen will always win 1 trick. The king will drive out the ace and the queen will win the second round. And lastly, the king with 1 or more cards is worth half a trick. After the ace takes a trick, the king will follow and get a trick half of the time. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the opening bid. It involves the use of starting points plus quick tricks, which we just covered. See you tomorrow.